Hello and welcome to day 60 in our 2790 series. Today we finish Galatians chapters 4, 5, and 6. And we continue reading about this relationship between the law and the gospel, between the law, the covenant of law, and the covenant of grace. And the example that Paul chooses to use is Hagar and Sarah. By law, Hagar had the firstborn son of Abraham and should have received the inheritance of Abraham and his family, but it is not by law that God redeems his people, but by promise. And God had promised that Sarah would be, and her heirs would be the heirs of the kingdom. And so Paul uses this as an example to teach us as Christians that salvation comes by faith and not by being Jewish or being chosen into part of that covenant, but rather through faith in our Lord Jesus Christ. And if we are saved, it is simply because of the nature of God and the promise that God has given to us that gives us tremendous freedom to live our lives according to the life of the Spirit. And so in the 5th chapter, then, Paul has these comparative lists. He has the list of life in the flesh and the list of life in the spirit. The life that lives in the flesh is filled with, in his words, hatred and discord, jealousy and anger, selfish ambition, factions and dissension. And it's obvious that it's an unhealthy and an ungodly life. But the life that's lived in the spirit exhibits the fruit of the Spirit as it works and it grows in us and strengthens us to become men and women who are filled with love and joy, with the peace and the patience that comes from the Spirit, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. We are not filled with selfish ambition. And against these things, there's no law. There's no way that anything in the world can defeat the Spirit that lives within us. And so his final call in the 6th chapter is, we who are filled with the Spirit should seek to do good to all people, both those who are brothers and sisters in faith and those who are not. We just seek to live out the gospel and its evidence as seen in the fruit of the Spirit.